Time to talk about the snow, huh? Yesterday, we were talking about how there wouldn't be much in the metro area, and obviously that was not the case. So I thought I'd come on a little bit and explain to you what happened and how that made one thing, I guess, it wasn't a small thing, but one thing made such a big difference in terms of the snowfall around here. So it's about 7 minutes after 8. We'll talk a little bit about that, give you an idea what's going on for the rest of the night. And then tomorrow as well, there still are some headlines for winter weather advisory here until 10 o'clock, and then in the thumb until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for a different reason, but I'll explain that too. So let's talk about what happened. You can see the radar here. This is a 6-hour loop that comes up until 8 o'clock here. The next frame will come up just a little bit. Generally, you can see the size of the overall widespread snow, and the intensity is finally starting to break up a little bit and being replaced by a little different kind of snow. But again, let's talk about what happened here. The general one thing is that the second front, the Arctic front, that is bringing in this dry air that's changing the intensity and decreasing the widespread snow here, and it'll keep going that way through the evening. That was much slower than I anticipated yesterday. I just want to show you again what's going on right now. The widespread snow that's been steady has finally started to decrease, and now here's a closer look to show you that these streamers now are replacing. You can see the streamers a little bit in Livingston County, but mostly in Oakland County, are moving from north to south. So the widespread snow is over here in St. Clair, Macomb County, into Detroit, and then moving to the east, while it's being replaced by some of these streamers that are coming in. That's the cold air that will cause more issues in the thumb than around here. But that's still going to be a little bit of this last part of this snow that comes through. So a quick explanation. This is what I showed you on Monday for what would be the situation this morning. 2 cold fronts coming through. We did get that, but I showed you, look at the top of the screen here. This is 7 a.m. And as we look at this, I thought the second front would be coming through around 7 a.m. In reality, everything was slower to the point where the first front was coming through this morning at 7 a.m. We did start with temperatures in the low to mid 30s, and then we started dropping behind the first front, but the second front didn't come through until much later in the day. It obviously got very cold very fast, but the second front was slow enough so that in between the two, as we dropped some, the colder air can use the moisture in the air more efficiently to make snow. And there are a couple of things about that. We have snow ratios. I'll put this back here on the general idea of the snow. The snow ratios, which means how much snow can you get out of an amount of water, are usually about 10 to 1 when you're talking about 30 degrees. So an inch of water in the atmosphere that's available to be turned into snow can turn into 10 inches. But as the temperature comes down, that snow ratio goes up. So we started this morning with a few rain showers around and temperatures in the low to mid 30s. Then as the temperature dropped back into the 20s pretty quickly behind the first front, now all of a sudden, without the second front swinging through and knocking out that heavier moisture, that moisture was left in the atmosphere. That colder air, not the super cold air that's moving in now, that has been the last couple of hours, but the cold air, it can use that moisture that in my mind yesterday wouldn't have been there because it would have been swept out to the east by the second front. It wasn't. The second front was slower. So then you have things to talk about like these snow ratios getting down closer to 12 to 1 or 15 to 1. So the amount of moisture that was left in the atmosphere can be used much more efficiently to make snow. Also, when I looked out my window about 1 o'clock when I was forecasting in my office at home, I saw some of those big fat Charlie Brown flakes, which told me already at that point I was in trouble for the snow forecast, because you shouldn't get those kind of size of flakes in the cold air that yesterday I thought would already be in place and drying out and knocking out a lot of the snow. So with the slower speed, the higher snow mixing ratios, if you want to call it that, the water to snow ratio is much higher once it started to snow. Then it kept going, it kept going, it kept going. And now again on the radar, excuse me, now on the radar, you can see the transition to the streamers that have been around here for a little bit this evening, coming in from the north, and the widespread snow is finally getting pushed out by the coldest part of this air, the driest part of this air, which I thought would have happened much earlier in the day. And that's why, if you remember yesterday, which a lot of you have told me that you do, an inch or less across the metro area. And amounts, just before we came on here, I looked, widespread 3 to 4 inches. But there were some spots, Wixom had reports anywhere from 5 to 6 inches, 4 inches officially at Metro Airport, just at 7:45, 3.3 at White Lake, that's the National Weather Service office, 3.5 in Howell, 3 in Macomb Township, 2 in downtown Detroit, Flint only 1.3. The moisture never got that far south because they got the drier air faster, like I thought we would in Metro Detroit. So again, widespread 3 to 4 inches, but the amounts anywhere from lightest up around Flint of an inch, a little over 1.3, 2 downtown. Some of the thermal effects from downtown made probably a lot more melting, but as much as 5 or 6 in Wixom. And I'll use my cursor again here just to show you. You can see one of the heavier bands that came through. It's a little loop again. This band right here through Macomb, Oakland, and Washtenaw County. But that band coming through this area, that's where the heaviest snowfall came in the period of about mid-afternoon, and that's where a lot of the snow really piled up, and now that is gone. So again, the overall problem was that on Monday, and I still thought last night, the second front that I showed you on this graphic Monday would be coming through in the morning on Wednesday and pushing out the moisture, and instead we got caught between the two fronts where the cold air could more efficiently turn the moisture into snow, especially some of what we call that dendritic snow. You know, when they have a drawing of a snowflake, it's got 6 sides, that's a dendrite. Dendritic snow is not going on out there right now, but that's the kind that can hit and stick together and really start to pile up pretty quickly. It's got a lot of air between the flakes that get stuck together, and so when you get that, we call that in the dendritic growth region or the dendrite region, that snow can make bigger snowflakes and it can really pile up very, very quickly, and some of that happened early in the day, and again, I didn't think that would be the case. Want to move forward now and show you a general idea of what's going on here for the rest of the night. Snow showers that have been widespread move off to the east, and look at the streamers that are coming through the thumb. In the thumb region, we'll continue to get some snow. We'll start to develop more snow in the snow squall and snow shower kind of way off of Lake Huron, and then here it is by 9-10 o'clock in the morning, and even up in that area it starts to shut off as the winds begin to shift. So overnight tonight, up until 10 o'clock in the metro area, which is technically everybody here except for Lapeer County, but does include St. Clair County, we're under this winter weather advisory till 10 o'clock. The graphic says another inch or 2. I don't think that's the case here. This was made at about 5 o'clock. So that was about the tail end of the widespread snow. But the point is, until 10 o'clock, the winter weather advisory, except in Sanilac County, up into the thumb and then up into the tip of the thumb, that's kicking in overnight into 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's 3 to 6 inches, and here's a map for that. So this is not the metro area with our snow moving out. This is about snow amounts that happen overnight tonight and then through tomorrow morning early as the flow comes onshore there. So you can see Port Huron an inch or 2 up into the northeast corner of Lapeer County, much of Sanilac County, 2 to 3 south and west, and then 4 to 6 central and north, I guess is a way to say that. So Port Sanilac to Bad Axe is where the heaviest snow should be with those snow showers overnight in the thumb. And again, that's the cold air. That's the cold air coming through off the lake overnight tonight. All right, the other part of this is the temperatures are quite cold. Temps and wind chills together. Wind chills 3 below in Pontiac, 1 below in Howell, 3 below in Port Sanilac now. 5 above in Detroit, 7 above in Monroe. These numbers will continue to drop. The wind chills will continue to go down as well overnight. And so the idea as we get to tomorrow morning, I'll show you here, we'll put this into the 8 o'clock hour as it comes up on the graphic. That's 10. So here's 8 o'clock. And we're looking at wind chills, as you can see here, 5, 6, 7, 8 below on the east side, and then 10 to 12 below areas in Washtenaw, Livingston, Lapeer counties out toward Genesee as well. So the wind is a constant overnight here, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. The temperature will keep dropping, and so wind chills tomorrow will be a problem. And it looks like they won't improve a whole lot as we go throughout the day. Here's 5 o'clock or so, maybe a few spots get to the double digits. And then as we go into Friday in the morning, it's going to be a tough go as well with single digits. This time probably get it to about 8 o'clock or so. This time single digits above 0. So the coldest morning is tomorrow morning behind this second Arctic front. And then it's still cold on Friday morning, but it's about a 10 degree or maybe a 15 degree betterment, if you will, with the wind chill factor there. All right, quick look. We're still looking at this pattern shift that we talked about last week and then early this week. 21, 32, 29, 21. That's the rest of the week and the weekend. And 32 on Friday is normal for this time of year. That's the average high of 32 as we approach our coldest time of the year at the end of January and beginning of February. But you can see there's another surge of cold air back behind us, and this is the pattern shift that we talked about a little bit yesterday about this same time, that it's going to get colder for a longer period of time, and it looks to be a busier pattern with storm systems kind of setting up in the Great Lakes and spinning around here, revolving around our area as we go through not only this week and next week, but probably for a good chunk of the rest of January to be colder than normal. And probably a little bit snowier, certainly than we have been. But January is supposed to be one of our snowier months. So that's the setup for the next several days. And again, just to go back and recap, tonight winter weather advisory overnight into 10 o'clock in the morning for the thumb, with the heaviest amounts in Sanilac County, Port Sanilac up into Bad Axe. Could be 4 to 6 by the time this wraps up, 9 to 10 o'clock or so in the morning. The roads are an absolute mess out there. Some of the moisture from this morning froze as that first wave of cold air came in. Then we put snow on top of it, and then more snow and more snow and more snow. So it is really tough travel out there tonight, and I think it's going to start to get better overnight as the widespread snow starts to move off. It'll still take it's coming up on 8:20, still take another hour or two to get the east side to slow down. And then these streamers coming off the lake will be very much hit and miss overnight. All right, so that's a little idea of what I was thinking last night at this time, what actually happened. And then we move forward for here with a busy and cold pattern. 8:20 now, we'll see you at 10 o'clock on TV 20 Detroit, and at 11 o'clock